Hey everyone, welcome to another game development episode where we're recreating The Legend of Zelda. In today's episode, we're going to focus on finishing the title sequence, and specifically, we're going to do the item screen, and that's this for reference. It's the screen that shows all of the items, and it scrolls past, and we'll get that done. There's some timing elements that we need to do. It's going to scroll up based on certain times, and then once it gets to the bottom, and the song ends, it's actually going to move back to the title screen, which is the very epic start screen that everybody is familiar with. So we're going to do that. A couple things that we're going to do first is when we're going to add a sprite for that background. That was a temporary background that we were using. So sprites, we're going to go to title, right click and create sprite, and sprite item screen. And we'll go to edit, and we're going to add one from file here. And I have two files because this is animated. We'll add version 1. And as always, these will be on my Patreon page. We're going to add another one. We go to item 2 PNG. And if I click the preview, you should see the little heart flashing here. Okay, we got that. And real quick update, also before we get too far, I did mention that this stuff is on my Patreon page, and I do encourage everybody to go check that out. And if you choose to support this channel and the content that I'm producing, it's very much appreciated. As I had a recent scare, this is like the 5th time I tried to record this, and my computer has been on the fritz. I think it was a connection issue to the hard drive, and I think I've got it fixed. The other thing I wanted to update you guys on is I've gotten a lot of comments about it's hard to see the text and what's going on. So I'm now recording in 720, hoping that you guys are going to be able to see this a little bit better. All right, continuing on. So we added the sprite. We're going to add the corresponding object to that. We're going to go down to the title folder here. We'll right click and create object. And it's object item screen. We'll choose that sprite that we just created. And we'll right click, add event, create, and we're going to go to the control tab and right click the code. And we're just going to put image speed is equal to 0.2. That makes the animation, the flashing heart and all that at the right speed. That's actually it for that. We're going to add this to the room. So we'll close all that. We're going to go to the room, and we're going to go to the items room. And right now what we have is a background. So if we go to the backgrounds, we're actually going to take that off. No background. And we're going to change the color of the background to black. That'll give us the color that we want. Now we're going to go to the object tab and choose the object that we just created, the object item screen, and just add it anywhere on here. But I'm just going to go ahead and pull it all the way down to the bottom right here. So what's going to happen is when you first go to the screen, it's going to be all black. And then as the music's playing, it's going to start scrolling up so that you see it. It's actually going to scroll up and pause here. And then it's going to start scrolling up again until it gets to the bottom. All right. Let's reposition that. There we go. Okay. So the next thing we need to do is we need to fix the sound. We uploaded the sound in the last episode, but I found out the song loops twice in the recording I have, and we are going to get rid of that because we need to know when the song ends, and when it does end, we're going to move back to the title screen. So we're going to go ahead and delete this. Go right click, create sound, call it sound, music, it's sound, music, intro. And I'll upload the new intro. I called it intro short. It's half the length. Click OK, leave everything else as default. Okay, that's what we need right there. Okay, so now we're going to go to our scripts and the states here. Go to states and game. And we're going to deal with the title state and the item state. Let's start with, I didn't mean to click that, but let's go to the title state. So the first thing here is that we're going to change is what we did was when the title screen starts, we check to see if the audio is already playing. If it's not, then we start the sound. One of the parameters when you start the sound is looping. So you see it says loops down here, and we have it set to true. We're actually going to say false. We don't want this to loop. I said last time we were going to use it, but we're not. Because when the audio stops, we can actually check every frame of the game whether or not it's still playing, and we're going to use that to our advantage. The next thing we need to do is actually, I realized there was a problem. So what we do is at the end of the title screen, it fades to black. And we do that by saying draw set alpha to whatever the alpha is minus 0.1. And once it hits 0 or less, but it should only hit 0, we switch rooms. Well, the problem that gets caused by that is the next room, you can't see anything because the alpha is set to black. So we're going to say draw set alpha, and we're going to set it to 1. Okay. Just to test everything, I'm actually going to go back to this room. I want to test something real quick because I've been having problems with this showing up correctly. Let's test this real quick. And I might cut to the test instead of making you guys wait for the song to get to that point. Okay, now it should fade and then go to the item screen. Okay, so it does work. So that's good. So I'm actually going to leave the item screen there because we're actually where it is right here. In the code now, we're going to go set in the item screen. We're going to say if the state time is equal to 0, then we're going to set the item, it's called object item screen y. We're going to make that equal to 233. We're going to actually push it all the way to the bottom. The height of the screen is 232. So we'll set it to 233, and now it's going to be at the bottom of the screen. Okay, so the next piece of code here states that if the time is over 5 ticks and the player presses the start screen, let's move to the next screen. That's fine. We want to keep that. What we want to change now is this. Instead of after 5 seconds, which is what this is saying, go to back to the title screen, we're going to wait till the audio ends. So if the audio is not playing, which we're going to say this like this, if not audio is playing, sound, music, intro, then we'll go to back to the title screen. So after it scrolls all the way down, the music's done, we're going to go back to the title screen at the end of the song. Okay, we'll test that in a little bit. That's all good. So next thing that we're going to do is the screen, it starts off in black, and then as the music starts playing, then it starts scrolling up. So the first thing we're going to do is going to say the move speed is equal to 0.5. This is how fast we want the screen to scroll. And we're going to say if the state time is greater than or equal to 150 ticks, and the object item screen y is greater than 0. 0 is at the top of the screen. So as long as the item screen y is somewhere below the top of the screen and it's over 150 ticks of the game or of this state, then we'll start it scrolling. So basically the short of this is with a short delay of 150 frames, we'll start moving the screen up. So we're going to say object item screen dot y is plus equal to move speed. And then the last thing that we're going to do is there's a slight pause in the middle of the song. And it's actually when, let me show you. When this first shows up, it pauses for a couple seconds and then it continues on. That's what we're going to do now. So the timing on that is if the state time is greater than or equal to 9,000 and the object item screen dot y is greater than 232 minus object item screen sprite height. We're gonna do the same exact thing. Actually, this is gonna be a minus because we're moving it up. We're gonna do this. So let me explain this now. So this is saying after 900 frames, let's start moving it up. But as long as the sprite, so this is the height of the sprite, isn't above the bottom of the window. So the other way for me to explain this is, again, show you. This is the length of it, and since the height of the room is 232, it's basically saying the height minus this. As soon as it gets here, don't go up anymore. That's what that actually means. So now that's all the changes that you need. Let's go ahead and test this. And again, I'm going to cut from the title screen and get right into the item screen so you guys don't have to wait for it. Okay, now it's fading. So it should happen about right now. There you go. So you start to see this come up. So that was that first piece of code right here. Whoops. So it pauses for a little bit, and then after 900 frames, it starts scrolling again. And you should see the animations, the blinking. So we'll let this continue on. It's going to go through this. It's going to pause at the bottom because of this code right here. You should see it when the Triforce shows up. Okay, should get a pause here right at the end. So pause, and now the song's about to end, and it's going to go right back into the title screen. There, perfect. So that's all we were going to cover today. That gets us through the item screen, and what we're basically doing is getting everything ready for the next phases of the game. We're going to skip doing the select screen, which is where you actually select the player. We're going to go right into doing level editing, and that's going to be the next one. And room transitions from like the caves and the item shop. So there's going to be an exciting next episode where we start setting up the framework for being able to create all the levels. So look forward to that. All right, thanks for watching. As always, start subscribing. Give it a thumbs up if you like the video, and I'll see you guys next time.